Hello, Mr. Randy here, picking up with part 2 for dimensioning and 2D drawings here. I've moved on to another assignment. Again, I want to mention that on this particular drawing, the arrow sizes and text heights are really big in my example here. In the handout that you get, it may vary greatly for you. All right, and I want to show you now, in the first video I said there's two ways you can kind of get your views into the drawing. I showed you one. So we'll show you the other way on this one. I do want to take a quick look at this drawing though. So I want you to notice, first of all, I have both one place and no place decimal dimensions here. I also have some notes on some of these dimensions, typical note to tell them that there's multiple versions of that gap. And finally we have 2 radii here. I want you to notice that the arrowheads are touching on land, not in the gaps. And I have a center mark there that we'll need to put in. We might make this look a little cooler with some center marks through here. Finally, there's a dimension here that just says R. And I'm going to put that in as a dimension, but we're going to have to take away the dimension value. That just tells the machinist that it's a full radius because we've already dimensioned the width at 1 millimeter. So let's look at the other way we can bring views in and then do this drawing up real quick. So I have started a new file here, so I just went new inch drawing or metric drawing and hit OK and selected a B-size sheet, and there it is. And so I'm now going to go to the View Layout tab, and we'll just say Model View, and we'll pick the part. So we'll browse, and this is 30, yeah. Let's go find our little part here. There we go. And we'll place it, and we'll place a side view here. I'm not going to do the pictorial view, but I do want you to do that. We're going to use a pretty weird and kind of not legitimate scale on this one, I think, of 3:1. So right-click, Properties. Let's try 3:1. And then right away, I'm going to zoom up on this a little bit more. I need to turn hidden lines off on this. It'll look really bad if we don't do that. So let's turn off hidden lines in that view. That should have taken care of it in the child. All right, I'm going to insert model items now. So insert model items. Entire model, again, you might have to change that. And then these 4 buttons are selected, and we'll hit OK. And it's going to bring all those dimensions in for us. Now, I'm going to change the precision to no decimal places, so let's do that so you can see it for practice. And let's go to none. And then I'm going to grab all the dimensions that have a decimal place. And I think that's it. And we'll change their precision over here to 1. Now let's zoom up on this view. You can see you've got extension lines to fix. I'll do a couple of them, but I'm not going to bother. And that's a little tight still. But this is a typical, no, it's not a typical dimension. This is a typical dimension, as is this one. And so first of all, those are going to have to come out. There's just not enough room in there. So I'll click on that dimension, and down here in Feature Manager, I'll scroll it up. For dimension text, you see the bracket dim bracket. That's the default value. Don't ever destroy that unless you have to, like we're going to in a minute. And then I'll put a TYP after it. And notice it changes the spacing, and this is a really common mistake on this part. Make sure that you don't lose that dimension line. Pull that back out so that you get that dimension line there. And then we'll do the same for this one. TYP. And pull that out. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on prettying this up. Let's zoom up on this view. This is also a typical dimension. I'm going to go the other way with it and put the space TYP after it. Zoom up on that. I still have a dimension line there. I might get it just a little more. And then these are also typical, so you do the same thing for them. I'm not going to mess with that right now. All right, let's put the R dimension in here. I'll show you how to do that. I'm going to do dimension. So I'm going to go Annotation, Smart Dimension. I'm going to pick that arc. And the nice thing about doing it this way rather than just as a note is that as I move the dimension, it follows the radius, and it gives me a lot more freedom, and the arrowhead will always point at the center point, which is the behavior we want anytime we're dimensioning a radius. So I'm going to place it right there. I'm going to click on that dimension, and then over here in Feature Manager, first I'm going to turn off the brackets, or the parentheses, and then I'm going to highlight and delete that bracket dim bracket, which is the text. When I do that, SOLIDWORKS is going to get angry with me, and I'm going to get this dialog box, and it just says you can't do tolerance display now if you destroy the default value. So I'm just going to say yes, and it gives us the R. Now, SOLIDWORKS sometimes will, if you put one R in there, used to be, especially in 2011, this wouldn't work. You had to put two R's in to get one. It was a kind of an odd little bug. And even maybe the beginnings of 2012, we had that issue. But they fixed that in one of the service packs, so it just takes a single R again. All right, one more thing we want to look at here, and that's these two dimensions here. Let me bring the drawing in real quick. I want you to see that the arrowheads are touching land, and I have a center mark there. Okay? All right, so let's get that back out of the way. And let's see if we can make this happen. So I want this dimension to flip that way. Now, to get smooth movement of the dimension, see how it's snapping? I'm getting that yellow line. Hold the Alt key down again, and you can freely move that dimension. And I'm going to try and get it right about there. I'm going to flip that arrowhead, and hopefully it's going to stay put. And then I'm going to bring this one in. And you can see that's pretty good placement right there. Yeah, I kind of like that. If you're getting an extension arc, like you see when it comes this way, if you're getting that, delete the dimension, put it back in, and pick this specific piece of land there, and it should truncate that extension line for you. I don't want to see that kind of stuff with the extension line sticking out. So we're going to stick it right there for right now. We still have to modify this text because it's a 2x thing. So we'll put the 2x in a space in front of it. And that's real nice. It's in the middle of the land now. I need a center mark here, excuse me, on this one. So let's go to center mark. And right away, I don't want the extended lines. I'll go ahead and put it in so you can see what I'm talking about. I don't want those extended lines. That's bad. So we're going to turn those off. So we have to turn off document defaults and turn off those extended lines. And that's a pretty big plus mark. I'm going to knock that down to like 1 millimeter. So that looks better. So that's a nice look for us right there. In the drawing that I gave you, this dimension is actually over here. And that's okay too. You can do it either way. Just make sure you keep some separation between them. All right. This last thing, we'll hide that one. We don't need it because we have the 2x now. So we'll hide that. All right. One other quick comment. In older versions of SOLIDWORKS, they use lowercase x's. So we'd gone 2x space. That doesn't look like much space, but there's one in there. And then R5. Well, SOLIDWORKS now uses capital letters for whole wizard callouts. So if you can remember to put that uppercase X in, that'd be great. All right, I'm just going to throw this drawing away now. Okay. On this assignment, I'm going to bring this one into view here. You're going to create this model and then do the 2D drawing. Again, my text heights and arrowhead sizes are huge because when this drawing is shrunken all the way down to fit on an 8-inch wide piece of paper here, I had to make the text height and arrowhead sizes huge. Your 1/4-inch dimension will fit in here, and that's where it belongs. So make sure you go inside the extension lines if there's room. But what we have to do is create this little broken section here. We needed to locate these two holes off of the edge of the slot. And furthermore, off the back edge of the slot, not the front edge. So don't think you can break out here. That's not correct. It's dimensioned off the back edge of that slot. that goes underneath the part. Most of you drew this part in Drafting 101. You remember it fondly, I'm sure. So here's the slot in that view, and we need to create that broken section. This is dimensioned very differently from the assignment you did in 101, but it's the same basic shape. So I want to show you how to create that broken section right there. So I'm going to zoom up here on my top view. And what I'm going to do is just go to Sketch and click on Spline Curve. And I want to create a spline curve, a closed spline curve that's going to define the break. So I'm going to start over here. I don't want to go past the center line here, so I'm going to stay up in this area here. And one of the things you want to be careful of, don't click on an edge, or worse yet, a midpoint or something. It'll lock the spline curve and you won't be able to edit it well. So I'm just going to put some zigzags in there, and I'm going to come around and then close this. If you move your mouse really fast doing spline curves, it'll often break out and you'll have to redo it. So it's got to be a single closed loop. And now that I've got that spline curve, I'm going to go up here and click on View Layout while it's highlighted and say Broken Section. Now over here in Feature Manager, first thing I want to do is turn on the preview. And you can see nothing's happening, and that's because, zoom out just a hair, this is the depth that the model's being cut for the broken section. You can see it's above this surface, so there's nothing happening yet. So let's kick this value up a bit. And you can see that we start to see, now we're in the middle section here, and this is the broken section. We still haven't exposed that slot. In your handout, I gave you a number, 1.84, which you can just type in right here, and you'll be done. I'm going to just go ahead and use the arrow key, and I think 1.9 will work for us, as does 1.8. So now we see that broken section right there. Okay, so this shows you the depth that SOLIDWORKS is going to cut away that material, and we'll click OK. Now the reason I did that first, here's the cool part, is that when I insert model items, if I've done this, it should bring that dimension in if you put it in the right place off the back edge. So let's go to Annotation, Model Items, Entire Model, and click OK, and there it comes. So you can see that dimension is popped in for us. Notice again, it fits perfectly well between the extension lines, lots of room, so make sure you make that happen. I'll leave most everything else here for you to figure out, but there are two other things I want to show you very quickly. One is that chamfers, when they come in, look like this, and we don't dimension them that way. So we're going to hide these dimensions. And we'll just do a note. So right up here is the note tool. And I'll click where I want to attach the note. And then I'll place it. And then we'll type in the text, and we're going to say 2x space 0.25 by 45, and we need a degree symbol, and there's nothing up here that gives us it. You can either type in the ASCII code if you know it. You hold the Alt key down, type the ASCII code, and I'll give you an ASCII sheet in class. Or you come over here to the Feature Manager. This button right here is the Add Symbol button. And there's degree. You can double click it and get right out, and it puts it in. Click out in space if you want. It would allow you to apply this note somewhere else. I'll just hit the check, and that doesn't belong there. And I don't think it's really there, so ignore it. Let's rebuild. Yep. And this note's wrong. I need to edit that, so I'll double click it because this is actually a 3x. All right, one other thing I want to show you on this part, and that's this dimension down here. This seems to be an issue in SOLIDWORKS 2012. This arrowhead's just in the weirdest place, and it's revolving, and it doesn't reflect at all where that circle actually is that makes that radius. And worse yet, there's no way to fix it. So if you get this kind of behavior, first try this. Tell it to dimension to the inside of the arc. If that puts the arrowhead on this arc, and you can just flip the arrow over, great. Go ahead and do that. But chances are you're going to get this weird behavior. that passes through this corner, and I don't know why it's doing that. So I'm just going to hide or delete this dimension and put it back in again manually. So I'm going to go Smart Dimension and pick that arc, and you'll probably have to do this on yours. One thing I do want to show you to be careful of, if the leader is too close, you'll lose the flat here. If you're within this 1-inch circle that would be created by that R5, this 1-inch diameter circle, it won't show you the leader. So do make sure you get that far enough out that the leader pops, and also be real careful not to leave the arrowhead sitting right there. That's real poor practice. So get it up out of the way somewhere where it's not pointing right at where the hidden line terminates. And again, shut the parentheses off. So that's how that should look. I'll let you clean all the rest of this up. I'm not going to comment on that. Finally, I want to show you just the last assignment file, just so you can kind of see what's going on. So your last assignment is to create this model like so, and then dimension it. And so I just want you to be able to make sense of this. This is the left side view. This would be this side over here, the front view. Of course, you don't have a left plane to start with, so you have to start with the right plane to sketch, because this is going to be your base sketch, I'm sure. So I want you to ponder that in terms of what you would draw on the right plane to get this as your left side view. Think about that when you extrude it. If you're not sure, ask for help. And then I just want to point out a couple things here. Most of these dimensions should make sense, but I just wanted to take note of these over here. It's 9 millimeters from the edge to the first of these grooves that are patterned across here. And then the pattern spacing is 12 millimeters. That's from here to here. In your drawing, I probably wouldn't do this. I would probably say give the quantity, the number of spaces, and do that as a 20x or whatever the number is, so 19. So you could say 19x 12 in your drawing rather than saying pattern spacing to do that. So here, let's look at the model just so you can kind of see it in 3D. So those are through holes. That's a notch that's cut through. There's this slot here, if you will. It's kind of a blind slot. And then if we zoom way up, I'll scroll this back. There's those teeth, if you will. It's just a rectangle, cut through all, and then patterned, linear patterned across the length of the part. So that's what the model looks like that you're going to be working from. Let's pull this back in. So just so we're all clear, you're going to create the model and then the drawing. You're going to do a top, a front, and a left side view. So left side, a front, and a top view. And then you'll have to create a broken section to show the depth of the 22 millimeter slot. So in your top view, to get this depth in, you're going to have to do a broken section again. And I should probably show you that because that's a little different way to go. So real quick, I have this part. Let's save it. And then let's make a drawing. This is a metric part. You're going to do this on a C-size sheet. It's our only C-size drawing to date. And I'll bring in a front view and a left side view and a top view. I believe this will fit 1-to-1. We're going to give it a try here. So properties, 1-to-1. It's going to be a squeeze, but I think you can get all the dimensions in. There's not a lot of dimensions. So here's our 3 views that we're going to be working from. And I'm going to go ahead and do a broken section up here. So we don't have a view that shows us the depth of the slot. So in one of these 2 views, we have to do a broken section. So I'm going to zoom up here, and we'll do a broken section. So I'm going to go, we'll do it this way. I'll click on Broke Out Section, and it puts us into the Spline tool. And so I'll zig through here and loop around and close that. And then for depth, I can do this. This is kind of cool. If you click on a circular feature like this, it'll cut it to the center of that feature, and it's not going to do it for me. All right. Let's turn preview on. Maybe it's there. Yes, it is there. All right, so there's the cut, and I didn't do that curve very well, so that's cool. I'll show you how to fix it. This is a pretty small space here, so I want to fix that. So I'm going to right-click, and we're going to go to Broke Out Section, Edit Sketch. I'll click on that, and let's pull these way out. Let's do something like that. Then we'll close the sketch. SOLIDWORKS can give us this weird message, just say OK, and it will update it. That will allow you to dimension that depth there. Okay. You could also do that down here, and maybe that's actually a better place, so I'll let you decide. You could break away this corner right here to put that depth in there, and this view is a lot emptier, so that might be actually a nicer place to put it if you want. So give that a try. I'll let you go whichever way you want. So that's what the three views will look like, and then you'll import your dimensions in and get it detailed up. Good luck, and as always, enjoy.